The New Covenant. Most people believe Jesus' mission was simply to forgive sin, but the truth reaches far deeper. Jesus came to inaugurate the New Covenant, the moment in history when God's Spirit would dwell within humanity. Sin forgiveness was part of the pathway, but not the destination. The true goal was God giving you His own Spirit. Spiritual Christianity versus physical Christianity. Christianity is often described through the historical life of Jesus Christ, yet its true essence, the New Covenant, lies far deeper than ritual, morality, or institutional practice. To understand this, we must distinguish spiritual Christianity, rooted in God's will and God's indwelling Spirit; physical Christianity, centered on Jesus' historical life, human traditions, and institutional religion. One expresses God's eternal purpose, the other expresses humanity's interpretation of it. The New Covenant, God's ultimate promise. Long before Jesus appeared in the flesh, God declared His plan through the prophets. I will make a new covenant, I will forgive their iniquity, and remember their sin no more. Jeremiah 31:34. I will give you a new heart, and I will put my spirit within you. Ezekiel 36:26-27. This covenant was not active during Jesus' earthly ministry. Jesus announced it only once, at the Last Supper. This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is shed for you. Luke 22:20. And its fulfillment began at Pentecost, when God's Spirit descended and began to dwell within humanity. The New Covenant is not about ritual obedience, it is about God Himself entering the human person to transform them from within. Why Jesus had to manifest in the flesh. Across all religions, all prophets, all saints, and all traditions, there is one universal truth: no human can forgive sin, only God can. This is why the scribes reacted with outrage when Jesus declared forgiveness. Who can forgive sins but God alone? Their accusation of blasphemy, Mark 2-7, and yet, Jesus did forgive sin. He forgave with no ritual, no temple system, no sacrifice, and no priestly mediation. He forgave as God, not as a prophet, not as a messenger, not as a teacher. His being, not His death, forgave sin. His divinity accomplished what no human, no prophet, no saint could do. Not Mary, not Moses, not Abraham, not any prophet across any religion. Only God Himself could forgive sin directly. This is why God manifested in the flesh, to forgive sin personally and to enact the new covenant personally. His blood was not the mechanism that paid for sin. His blood was the signature, the divine seal, ratifying the new covenant in which God gives His Spirit to humanity. The true purpose of Christ, the Incarnation, was never primarily about sin payment. Forgiveness was necessary, but not ultimate. The core purpose of Jesus' life, death, and resurrection was to inaugurate the new covenant, to make God's Spirit live within humanity. Jesus came so that God could directly forgive sins, and then place His Spirit inside the believer, bringing transformation, union, and spiritual rebirth. This is something no human priest, no religious institution, no prophet, and no ritual could ever accomplish. Physical Christianity, the outer shell. Physical Christianity focuses on rituals and sacraments, moral codes, confession and repeated forgiveness, church authority and interpretation, institutional traditions. Throughout history, Christianity became shaped by human structures, Roman political systems, European institutions, and cultural frameworks. These preserved aspects of Jesus' teachings, but they often obscured what Jesus actually came to achieve. The New Covenant is not an institution, it is God living inside the believer. Why this distinction matters. Understanding the New Covenant reshapes the entire meaning of Christianity. Salvation is by grace through the Spirit, not ritual, not works, not institutional compliance. Receiving God's Spirit is the actual fulfillment of the New Covenant, bringing transformation, empowerment, and union with God. Jesus' role was to enable this covenant, not merely to manage human sin. God's ultimate purpose. Jesus stated his mission with perfect clarity at the Last Supper. "This cup is the new covenant in my blood, which is shed for you." Luke 22:20. God's ultimate purpose is to place His Spirit within you. Any theology that reduces Christ's mission to sin management, or diverts attention away from God's indwelling Spirit, undermines the very purpose for which Christ manifested.